Hello, my friends out in the world. This is Ron Servin checking in the Man Cave, the Man Cave Experience as we call it. Just such an amazing place that Cedric and I have committed ourselves to, showing up for ourselves, showing up for you, the listener, new listener, old listeners, listeners maybe sharing this with others. Again, we put ourselves out there in a way that we feel is, in the first place, beneficial for us as men. You know, we've come from different places in our life, live in different places in the world, but we create this opportunity every week, or usually every week, to have this conversation live with ourselves and then putting it out there for others to listen to. And we just feel so connected to that, and just this whole sense of, especially for men, we have female listeners as well, but as men, you know, how many of us are really stepping out of our own shadows and doing these things in our life that create change, create unity, create, you know, these things in our life that we want more of, yet we feel like because we're men, we can't do or share some of these parts of us. And before I go into the topic for tonight, definitely want to give a shout out to my co-partner, the amazing, I don't know what other words I can describe other than just the most fantastic friend that I have in my life right now, and just somebody that adds so much value to who I am and pushes me and challenges me and supports me in so many ways. So good morning, Vietnam.
What's happening, man? What's happening? What's up, y'all? Man, it's your boy Sid, man. Such a pleasure to have y'all joining us every week tonight. However you catching it, phone, however, man, it's a pleasure. Appreciate y'all joining in. To listen in on just two dudes just chopping it up on various topics, you know, and just trying to shed some light. I'll give our little 2 cents on it, and hopefully with the hopes of helping somebody, whoever that may be, however it may help, you know. What's happening, Doug? What's good, man?
Funny, we were just saying before we got on about I'm kind of growing my beard out and my hair out a little bit, and here's Cedric looks hairless at this point. He's got everything shaved on his head, his face, and
yeah. If y'all, you know, all the returners, you guys, I cleaned it up a little bit. We're starting over basically.
And I'm going funky. I'm gonna see what's gonna happen with just kind of letting my hair grow a little bit, and so we'll see. So anyway, so tonight or this morning, or whenever you're listening in, the topic that we're diving into is around, and this is kind of going to evolve as a conversation, but the topic is pain. But it's not pain only about physical pain. It's also pain as far as emotional pain that we experience in our lives. So for me, I know in growing up, you know, watching TV, you know, a sports type person, you know, I've looked at pain in different ways as far as how I see others inflict pain on others physically. You know, I've had some things happen in my life that have caused physical pain. I was going to talk about that tonight, but also just the idea that emotional pain can play a major part in our life, either separately as an individual, you know, thing that we struggle with, or how emotional pain might lend itself to impacting the physical part of our body, and how we can have some of these energies that are from the emotional pain, you know, cause this discomfort or this uncertainty of where, you know, this feeling or this, you know, this energy that feels stuck in our life, you know, how can we move that? So I'm just going to share just currently kind of what I've been going through, which is some neck pain, and that has been of a result over the years. And I do think, you know, when I look back of most likely when it happened was through a car accident, you know, probably 7 or 8 years ago, but didn't have many effects from it soon after that. I went through some physical therapy, so nothing hugely challenging around that. But about maybe 2 years ago, I just started feeling more neck pain and just, you know, kind of some struggles around just areas that felt of discomfort. So I've tried everything. I've had MRIs, I've had CAT scans, I've done acupuncture, massage, trigger point injections, RFA, which is ablation or like a radio frequency ablation of the nerves. So what has happened though over time through that process of experiencing physical pain, it's caused a lot of discomfort for me emotionally, and for several reasons. One, taking over-the-counter medication to kind of curb that pain. I do think that I have some reaction to that could kind of create some uncertainty or reactions within my own kind of personality. Just kind of having the headache or having the neck pain, taking something for it. Some of those side effects that could cause some of that angst in your body. So it's just been a struggle for me to be able to understand pain, to know kind of pain obviously is something that we experience at different levels, but not wanting to just accept it and just make that part of my life as I move through the rest of the years on this earth. So today I actually had a epidural, which I've never had before. So that's actually going right into the core of your vertebrae and injecting this material in there to hope to relieve some of that pain and hopefully kind of some solution. So for me, this just topic resonated as far as just that whole impact and memory of kind of over the years of just how it's affected me on both levels, the emotional level, the physical level, and and that kind of has happened in earlier years of my life, more of an emotional pain that kind of placated out in different areas of my life as I move forward. So I challenge you, the listener, to kind of be in tune with your body, not just on a physical level, but an emotional level where pain becomes something, especially as men, that we need to be tough, right? We can't show our emotions if we're fearful or we're angry, in a way that's productive. We want to kind of always be that tough guy that just has everything figured out and we got all our shit together. And that can keep that pain localized in our body and really cause a lot of outcomes that we're not necessarily aware of where they're coming from. So I'm interested, but you said when you've kind of gone through your life, has there been areas or times where you've had one or the other, and how you might have been able to move through that in a way that you've learned from?
Yeah, man. Yeah. And to be honest with you, bro, like I didn't, as far as the emotional side of it, I really didn't even know that I was experiencing emotional pain, because I was brought up like the typical dude where, pain was weakness, emotional pain was weakness. So you didn't talk about it, you suppressed it. And now on the physical pain, I've had it all over, broken bones here, hands, I boxed for quite a bit. And so, I felt some pain, some physical pain. But again, I never really equated any emotional to physical or anything like that. And I'm glad you asked that, because I was going to ask you about emotional pain with men, because if for y'all to truly understand it, the way I was brought up, it was anything emotional as a man, you just did not talk about your emotions. And if you did, you were like the less than dog that was out there. It was because it was a dog to eat dog world. You weren't an alpha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even thought. I guess I would say off the tongue, out of the mind, because I wasn't talking about it ever, and so I never really thought about it until after my surgery, which was the worst physical pain I felt in my life.
Right.
So what's your thoughts on that, man? Like with men in general? in pain and emotional. Well, let's talk emotional pain for a second.
Well, I think emotional pain is something that I feel, based on my experience with men, that it's something that I sometimes feel is there, based on just how I'm experiencing that individual. But usually it's something that they'll use more of a ego-driven response to it to kind of push it to the side. Like that's just the way it is. It's not something I need to be worried about. I'm just kind of handling it the best way I can. And I think we don't, as men, feel like we can share emotionally and or physical pain with that, maybe that man that's sitting across from us in a individual setting or in a group setting, because we, like you said, that's a sign of weakness. It's a sign of just our unwillingness just to man up and deal with it. And we see that you and I watch sports. We've been in sports. We're athletic type men, to where it's more of get out there and play and worry about it after the fact, than to just kind of take that time to fully recover from something, and allow for the best type of outcome versus the risk we take, right? And that goes with physical or emotional. I think when we have these emotional pains or scars in our life that we just continue to try to fast forward our life or move forward without acknowledgement, without acceptance, without growth or changing something about how we process it, we still stay stuck. We may create all this energy and things that we're doing in our life that seem to make it be less. But at the end of the day, when you lay your head on the pillow, or you have any type of self-reflection where you really kind of connect to that inner part of your experience, physically or mentally, just kind of feeling that energy or discomfort in your body through your emotions, or through just that, again, physicalness of it, you realize something, that you're just not being honest with yourself. You're not being honest with others. And that's your choice, right? We feel like we're going to be judged if we, because I remember back in junior high school, I played football, and I wasn't the big star. I wasn't a football player. Baseball was my sport. And there was a practice in junior high where I was like representing the star, like running back on the other team. So I was running, we were doing a play. I was running down the field, and I, like dove to catch this other, this guy, to tackle him, and I landed on my shoulder. And kind of shared with my coach and said, "Hey, coach, it's really, really discomforting. I think something's wrong." He said, "Yeah, it's probably no big deal. Just go up and take a quick visit to the nurse office, the office nurse, and get on back to practice." Long of the story short, I ended up breaking my shoulder, and just kind of, so that that for me, not that my coach needed to kind of baby me and make me feel like everything's gonna be okay. But even in simple instances like that, where there's potentially something that could have happened, it wasn't, the support wasn't there. I kind of felt like if I did say maybe my arm was broken, I was going to get judged by him or other teammates or whatever it might be. So I think those are those times where as men or even as women, we can stand up for ourselves and just say, this pain is real. This emotional pain that I have is real. This physical pain that I have is real. How can I share that with others that might be able to support and help me through a tough situation that I maybe don't have the tools, or don't realize I have the tools, to get through, and committing to that, not feeling like I'm going to be lesser than because I'm vulnerable, right? And that's kind of where we try to do here, on this channel, is just to open up and be vulnerable with ourselves, So go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna say, so being a mindset coach, and I know your meditation and mindfulness and whatnot. What would you recommend to somebody, like to somebody out there that feels the pain, but feel like, well, I have nobody to talk to because they're surrounded by these people that aren't there mentally to accept it if they did talk to them?
Right.
So, how would you help somebody get over that or start that healing process?
Right. And that's a great question. I think first of all, acknowledging that it's real, giving it some value and not feeling a need to, make it smaller than it actually is. Because I think when we do that, we find ways to, almost like justify the pain. I worked out real hard and now I've got the pain because as a result of this workout that I did or this, whatever I've done to kind of move forward in my life. So acknowledgement, that the first step for me in any situation is to kind of take that step back and just say, wow, this is something I'm experiencing, every day, every other day, a certain time of day. Where is that energy coming from? What is the truth about that pain? When I really understand, kind of where that energy is coming from and located in my body, and to understand that it's, it's something that I'm not just making up in my mind, and just, creating just kind of that hypochondriac type reaction that I'm always got some sort of ache and pain, in my body. Sometimes it's just that understanding that I'm getting older, right?
Yeah, right.
The pains are just as a result of getting older, or are they as a result of something that I'm not nourishing in my life? And I think that's where there's that connection of the mind and the body for me when I speak to individuals or try to do my own self-reflection is, are those in alignment? Is my body in alignment with my mind? Are the things that I'm thinking and wanting to incorporate into my life, am I really imposing those as a practice and as a habit that's creating that change? We can say all these things that we should do and want to do, and then are we taking those actions? Are we really becoming aware of just those early signs and symptoms of, even like when we're having thoughts, ooh, there's that initial part of that pain that always happens. Kind of going back to the root of it, because I think if we just look at the end of the day and I've got like this headache, there's probably a part of the day where that little subtle energy happened that you can maybe be more aware of. Maybe it was, your body posture. Maybe it was that negative thinking. Maybe it was that mindset going into the day, like, most likely I'm going to deal with the same pain that I had yesterday. I believe that the messages that we give ourselves internally oftentimes or usually impact how our body responds to it. So in a nutshell, I think that question you asked me of, what we do, how do we kind of identify and change those habits that we've had, kind of like coaching, right? We need to take that step back and really understand where it's originating from. What's the meaning behind that? What's the energy? Is it something I can really understand more about versus just identify it with, I've got a chronic headache, or I've got, chronic pain in my shoulder. What is that? How is that playing out in your life?
Right.
What are you doing to, kind of be open to sharing that with yourself in a loving way, and with others? Just say, what? Yeah, I've got a tough time dealing with this, and it impacts these areas of my life. Can you help? Be open to that, right?
Yeah, for sure. Because I'm like, man, I agree with what you're saying. Like, you got to identify where it's coming from. Because how I look at it now is like any kind of pain is really a symptom of something else that's going. If you break your finger and you start to feel it, your nerves are reacting to a broken bone. So now you feel the throb, you feel that pain. So in order to alleviate the pain, you got to basically mend that bone back together. Same thing with emotions. If you're feeling sad, whatever emotion you're feeling, or pain, and even happiness, you can find out where that's coming from. Like you say, getting to the root cause of it. Like, why am I sad? Okay, because you're not just sad to be sad. That's some type of dis-ease right there. Like, something is out of whack. So I guess my way of putting it, like saying what you're saying, would be, shit, just be honest with yourself. for one. You know, you got to be real. Like if you fail to get honest with yourself, nothing will work. You know, because you're lying. It's like, oh, I don't feel any pain, like your shoulder. Hey, if you lie to yourself like, oh, I don't feel nothing, you're gonna, one or two things gonna happen. You're gonna either just remain where you at hurting, and it takes a longer process, or you get back out there and you mess it up worse than what it is. You know, but either way, you gotta pay some type of attention to the problem that's causing the symptom.
Right.
And then I would also say, like, understand that a part of that honesty thing is understanding that it's going to be scary, or it can be scary if it's something you're not accustomed to, because it's changed. Like you've been programmed, or you've come up, the situations in your life that made you to the point to who you are now, and you haven't been doing that thing. It's almost like trying to put a cigarette down.
Right.
Like you gotta get into the habit of it, and so it's going to be scary if you're not used to it. But still push through that fear anyway. Just take little small action, and if you're not around people that you can release that to, find somebody that you can release that to. And even still, if you come up with the story that I just don't have anybody, I would recommend journaling. You know, write it down, because now it's still some type of release, and you can key in on where it's coming from, because your thoughts are just gonna come out and emotions gonna end up coming out, and you just like, whoa, shit, that's how I was feeling that day. Like, okay, wow. I mean, I need to take a look at that. Like, why did I want to kill the whole world? Like, whoa, do I have this type of anger in me? Like, why? That type of stuff. Yeah.
And I was thinking about you and just your journey with, you know, your heart condition and surgery and the whole, you know, kind of fear of what that meant for you physically. And I know it impacted you emotionally as well. You know, kind of fast forward to a conversation we had, you know, several episodes. It's been quite a few episodes ago now, around the heart and how we experience our heart, and just, you know, kind of that, you know, kind of me having a certain, you know, kind of thought and belief or experience around, you know, kind of what that means to me and you as well. So I'm curious, or maybe just planting that seed of curiosity with you as a man that has gone through that, and just, you know, is there a connection with, you know, your heart condition, your work around, you know, kind of with your coaching career, how you share yourself, just that uncertainty of what your heart, in addition to pumping blood through your body, you know, is that the sole purpose of what the heart can provide me? Am I somewhat maybe closed off to that because of my experience? So this isn't for you to answer, Ced. This is just kind of me thinking out loud of how, you know, these emotional pains, these physical pains, you know, that can sometimes keep us from maybe understanding parts of us that we're not tapping into completely. And this, again, this isn't me trying to tell you how you need to experience your heart. I think we all have that beautiful part of who we are and how we experience our heart, whether it's at this level or that level, or this is what it, you know, provides me or not. I guess I just want to plant that seed with you of curiosity on what spots or areas of your heart that may be still available for you to explore more and more.
Man, that's interesting, dude. Because while you were talking about it, I was thinking about that conversation. I was like, man, I guess I could have explained it a little, because now I'm like, because it's more like, how I kind of look at it is, as far as that organ, especially now, because it's like, damn, all right, it's not the same if I was to look at it that way. I got a rubber plasticky valve thingy in there. But on a deeper level, we all have this energy, or for me, being a religious person, I would say a soul. You know, just a different name for it, energy or soul. And on the energy side, the heart is the core of that energy. And for the religious side, it's, you know, the heart is the core of the soul that's been placed in me. Not really anything physically that you can put your hand on, because, you know, we say here because I do feel stuff in this area, and I just kind of believe that's kind of where the soul resides, but it's everywhere. But that's where that core is, you know, because for whatever, I don't know why, like that's the important organ that gets everything where it needs to be. But that thing doesn't, I don't think it could feel, you know, outside of the nerves that goes to it. It's more that soul. Um, or that energy where I feel it. So that's kind of like where it lies with just connecting with my physical heart versus my spiritual heart, you know? And that's why I say it's like kind of in the mind too. It could be, because I don't feel like it's anything physical. I don't know. I just don't think this stuff that because what I see right now, to me, is just a vessel. Like the Ron that I see right now, you're just carrying the Ron inside of you. Like that stuff that houses it doesn't feel anything. You know what I'm saying? Other than the conditions, cold, hot, pain, you know, whatever the case. But yeah, so that's that connection there, man. Just that core energy, that soul.
And I think that's you just said it in a nutshell. That's just the beauty of what we do here, right? Nothing right, nothing wrong. You know, we all have sometimes these feelings like we need to do what that person's doing, or we need, because it's like, this is the trend, I need to do that. You know, I need to kind of fit in. I need to kind of be more of the norm versus, you know, the exception. And, you know, so many of these things that we've talked about on this channel are just our own thoughts and ideas, and those continue to evolve. Again, the conversations we had when we first started, you know, around fatherhood, around love, around, you know, all these other topics we've talked about are going to continue to evolve. And that's why this channel, I feel, is so awesome, because you, the listener, us as the host, you know, this is just evolution. This is just life, you know, becoming more and more beautiful as a result of us individually and us in this group, and us as we, you know, walk out into the world, how we can be that amazing person that we sometimes don't feel like we can be because of uncertainty, because of judgment, because of, you know, all these things that society has created. But that's still your choice, right? We can't just use that as an excuse to not check in with ourselves and realize I've got options here.
Right.
You know, I don't have to kind of, because I was told this, or this is what I've done for 20 years, or this is, you know, kind of what feels right. You know, why not just be open to all possibilities as you move forward with every moment of your life, whether you're 25 years old or you're 85 years old. There's no difference in respect to the desire we should all have to be that best possible freaking version of ourselves. And it all starts with just that awareness, right? The awareness around, you know, this topic of pain, this awareness around, you know, how are we experiencing our life as it unfolds? Are we going into it? And this is something I've been practicing and haven't mastered it, and don't feel like I'll ever master it, but something that I'm trying to be more aware of is just asking myself before every interaction that I have, whether it's with Cedric here on the channel, or my son, or my wife, or my coworkers, you know, what do I really want out of this? What do I want out of this experience? Just taking that time before you even take any action, and just, what do I want? Because most likely you're not going to say, well, I'm just, you know, I really want this to be a shitty conversation, and just, you know, throw arrows at this individual and make them feel like, you know, like crap. But if we have no intention of going into it, we have no idea how we want that experience to play out, or what we're expecting, you know, we're taking a gamble, right? Because we may be reactionary. We may be just kind of not knowing what steps to take. So I would challenge you, the listener, and challenge you, Cedric, and continue. I'm challenging myself on a daily basis to create that practice of that second or two before you engage in every moment of your life, around pain, around, all these other things that we've talked about. What do I want from this experience? What do I want from pain? What does pain mean to me? What do I need less of? What do I want more of? All these things that we can then really establish a game plan, right? What can I do now? What can I do today to maybe shift that energy that's stuck in my neck and understand a little bit more of maybe it's an emotion, maybe part of it's this emotional attachment that I haven't let go of, or not. All those things that are possible. So I think just for me, this kind of resonates with me so much as a human, being. And again, we're human beings, not human. We're human beings, not human doing. So I love that whole adage that we shouldn't look at what we're doing in our life. It's how we're being in our life. How are we showing up? How are we showing up for ourselves? How are we showing up for our family? How are we showing up for the world, the universe?
Yeah, man. My part and stuff, I would just, man, one, if I could say that what you just said all over again, and practice stepping through the fear of putting it out there the best way that feels comfortable for you, and to ask yourself, what is the pain trying to tell me?
I like that. You froze there.
Like, where do you feel it? So that would be my thing to you guys too. Just don't be afraid to explore it. Explore the pain. See where it takes you.
And just be curious, right? And just be so gentle with that whole approach. It's like just open yourself up for whatever might come up, and understanding pain may be part of that, right? Almost inviting pain into, like you're saying, to teach me. What can I learn about this? What can I learn about myself? What can I learn about others? How can I now incorporate, a practice in my life where pain doesn't necessarily have to rule my life physically or emotionally?
Yeah. Well, man, I definitely got something out of that.
Man, I just love this space. And we sometimes, I'm sure when you listen to our episodes, there's those things that we probably say every single time, but there's a reason behind that, because we believe it, we live it, we desire to connect with you guys, the listeners, at a level that's going to really give you opportunities for space and growth in your own life. And we learn from you, the things that we all take actions in our life. These are all learning experiences. We are not the gurus. We are, like Cedric always says, we're just two dudes having a conversation. We're just, kind of sticking to that and committing ourselves to that part of our life. And you can do the same. It doesn't have to be through a podcast. It could just be, every morning you wake up, what action am I taking? How am I showing up? What do I want from this experience? What am I willing to do to step forward in my life? I so appreciate each and every one of you listening in, and so much more to come.
Right. Well, yeah, we got some stuff going in the pipeline now, baby. We got some stuff in the pipeline now. Get ready, man. Get ready. But yeah, y'all, appreciate you. Love y'all.
Much love to you, Seth.
Hey, same to you, bro. Y'all, I guess we'll see y'all next week. Deuces.